Gdańsk is over 1,000-years-old city with a rich history. It was here in the three cities that important events took place, important not only in the history of Poland, but also in the history of Europe and even the world. For example, one of the first shots during the Second World War fired in Gdańsk at Westerplatte. Today we will talk about the film that tells about the contemporary post-war history of Poland, about the strikes in the shipyard and the beginnings of solidarity. So let's start. The film we will talk about today is Wałęsa, Man of Hope from 2013, directed by Andrzej Wajda. The film mainly tells about the events that took place in Gdańsk in Pomerania in the 1980s. On the screen we see the shipyard workers' strike in 1980 and the signing of the August Agreement, or the Gdańsk Agreement, between the government of the Polish People's Republic and the strike committees. We see the beginnings of the independent self-governing trade union Solidarność, a nationwide trade union established in 1980 to defend workers' rights, which until 1989 was also one of the main centers of opposition against the communist government. We can see the imposition of martial law, which lasted on the country's territory from 1981 to 1983, and Wajda also showed the Polish Round Table talks of 1989, negotiations conducted by representatives of the government, democratic opposition and the church, which led to the first partially free elections in post-war Poland in June 1989. Andrzej Wajda, who died in 2016, is one of the most famous and appreciated Polish directors in the film industry. Several of his films, such as The Promised Land, Young Ladies of Wilko or Katyń, were nominated for an Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film, although he never received this award for film or as a director. In 2000, he received an honorary Oscar for his lifetime achievement. As a director, Andrzej Wajda was for a long time interested in events related to workers' protests and strikes in Pomerania. The film Wałęsa, Man of Hope is considered as the third part of the trilogy, which consists of the films Man of Marble from 1976 and Man of Iron from 1981, and this film was also nominated for an Oscar. The story presented in Man of Marble takes place in 1976, but actually Wajda tells more about the events of the 1950s, whereas in the film Man of Iron, the director focuses on the year 1980. These two films show the oppressive communist system from the early post-war years until the breakthrough, solidarity and the events in the Gdańsk shipyard. In the third film, Wałęsa, director takes us back to 1980, but we also have the opportunity to see how the fight for changing the political system in Poland went on. As you can clearly see, Wajda's Man of trilogy is largely concerned with political changes in the second half of the 20th century, which ultimately led to the fall of communism, not only in Poland, because the events that took place in Poland, in Pomerania, contributed to changes also in other countries of the Eastern Bloc, including the fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989. One of the main characters taking part in these events, as well as the title character of the 2013 film, is Lech Wałęsa. At the beginning of the film he is just an electrician working in the shipyard in Gdańsk, but he quickly begins to play a key role in negotiations with the government during the strike, becoming a co-founder of Solidarity and later its chairman. In the last scenes of the film, we see Wałęsa giving a speech in the American Congress in 1989. It is worth emphasizing that Andrzej Wajda's film is not only a film about politics and political changes, but it is also a film about Wałęsa's private life. Here, Danuta Wałęsa, the wife of the main character, becomes an important heroine who had to face many adversities as a wife of an oppositionist who was often interned, and as a mother of 6 small children. This is a woman who wanted to lead an ordinary life, but she was thrown into the middle of historical events. A woman who grew up in the countryside and worked as a florist in Gdańsk, received the Nobel Peace Prize on behalf of her husband from the King of Sweden, and later she served as the First Lady for 5 years. An important hero of the film is also Gdańsk and the Tree City, and above all, the Shipyard in Gdańsk. In 1980 it was still the Lenin Shipyard. In the film we see the famous gate number 2, where the families of the strikers gathered. We see the Sala BHP or BHP Hall, Health and Safety Hall, where the agreement with the communist government was signed. Today you can visit these important places yourself. Walks with a guide are organized in the shipyard, so you can learn about the importance of historical events, but also about the everyday life of shipyard workers. What's important also from the perspective of women, who remain silent but extremely important heroines of the period when Poland fought to regain independence. We encourage everyone to watch Andrzej Wajda's film Wałęsa, Man of Hope, and to visit the Gdańsk shipyard and see with your own eyes the places where the events that changed the fate of Poland and Europe took place.